Hey everybody, Xeno here, and that sure was an interesting direct now, wasn't it? It seems to have been very divisive among fans. Some people hated it, some people loved it. Either way, I saw a lot of Zelda fans seem to have been disappointed. And I can understand that. I mean, many fans, myself included, went into this direct expecting Breath of the Wild 2 and a Zelda 35th Anniversary Bonanza. And no, we didn't quite get that, and the way Aonuma broke the news to us was a little cold, but it's not all doom and gloom. I'm here to tell you that this series is still in a really good place, and you should be excited for Zelda in 2021. Let's start with the obvious, Skyward Sword HD. If you're not excited by this, what are you doing? Skyward Sword gets a bad rap, but hidden under the divisive motion controls and the linear world is a gem of a game. This is the most refined game in the classic Zelda formula, has some of my favorite sequences and dungeons in the series, and the best story. While it's a little unfortunate that the HD remake still retains the same $60 price tag, if you slept on Skyward Sword in the past, I think it's worth it. Also, just gotta throw this in here, those are the best looking Joy-Cons I've ever seen. Why aren't all special edition Joy-Cons like this, you know? Don't just put a color on them, put some kind of cool design on them, you know? I love these. On top of Skyward Sword though, we did also get more Zelda news. Age of Calamity's expansion pass was finally officially revealed. The first wave will arrive in June, with an expanded roster and new challenges at the Ancient Tech Lab. The second in November, with new character vignette side stories, new stages, and even more playable characters. And while this isn't exactly the new campaign DLC I was hoping for, I'm still super excited. The original Hyrule Warriors had some great DLC, and I have no doubt that the team is hard at work making some great stuff again. Of all the stuff mentioned here in this announcement, I feel like the character vignettes are probably the most exciting. I'm imagining we'll get just fun little side stories like Rivali goes to the grocery store, or Bosa goes to fight a Molduga, Mifa goes to teach Sidon swimming lessons in the morning. Except, you know, like they all break out into battles. I really want that Rivali grocery store one. But anyway, I feel like the Age of Calamity DLC is going to be a great way to give us some more fun Zelda content throughout the year. The last piece of Zelda news we received in the most recent direct wasn't exactly news, but confirmation that news is on the way? Breath of the Wild 2 has been in development for over 3 years now, and they did acknowledge it in this new direct, but instead of showing us anything, they decided they would tell us they're gonna show us stuff later. While it's hard to grapple with the fact that this means we're most likely going to have a 2-year gap from when we first saw this game to when we see it again, there is a bright side. First, I don't think the lack of Breath of the Wild 2 in this February direct means the game won't come out this year. Now sure, it hurts its chances, but the game could still have a huge presence later in the year in an early summer direct with a holiday release. Just because the game wasn't shown or a 2021 release date wasn't announced, doesn't mean it can't still happen. Devs need to understandably be wary about giving out release dates because delays usually disappoint fans, and the Zelda series in particular has a long history with this. And on top of the usual worries about giving out a release date too early leading to a delay, we now have the uncertainty of a global pandemic to also worry about. Maybe Mr. Aonuma could have told us today that the game is scheduled to come out in 2021, but in case that gets pushed back, you don't want to have to announce your big game for the year and then take that back because, oh, pandemic hit us harder than we thought. And on the subject of not showing any footage, this could be because they're just not ready to show anything, which is probably the most likely reason, but you also have to think about that putting together trailers and getting the right footage for trailers and everything, that also takes time, and it's not just something that magically happens. And as a final reminder, this game can still come out this year, and there's still time to show us a whole lot more about it. The Switch Pro has been rumored for a very long time, and at this point, I think it's a shoo-in to have Breath of the Wild 2 launch with this new powerful system. But Nintendo is also one to not announce new system SKUs that far ahead of time. They like to make sure that they can get as many people to buy the current Switch before they announce the new Switch. Being completely honest with you guys, I'm 50-50 at this point in time on if Breath of the Wild 2 will launch this year. And I'm okay with that. The longer this game is in development, the more faith I have that it will be unique enough to step outside the shadow of Breath of the Wild, which is something I was really worried about and think the sequel needs to do. Beyond that, just the confirmation that we will get some news this year is enough to excite me. And finally, I want to bring this up. Splatoon 3 was just confirmed with a 2022 release. Monolith Soft has been developing a new game for years that I think could show up this year and release next year. The main Mario team behind Odyssey has been quiet for a very long time, and if Breath of the Wild 2 does happen to slip into next year, 2022 is in a position to basically become 2017 Part 2. And isn't that exactly what people have been asking for? Another year with so many quality titles, it's on the caliber of 2017? I think early summertime, whenever Nintendo has their usual E3 style direct, will be very telling for Breath of the Wild 2. I believe the game will have a massive reveal then. The only thing I'm not sure about is which number will show up on screen. But there is one more piece of the puzzle for Zelda this year, which was notably absent in the direct: a mention of Zelda's 35th anniversary. This direct happened mere days before the date of Zelda's 35th anniversary, which is why I and many others thought it would at least be acknowledged. But no, Skyward Sword HD, Age of Calamity DLC, and a mention of Breath of the Wild 2, but nothing on the anniversary or the much clamored for collection in the vein of Mario 3D All-Stars. Now the thing is, I always questioned if we would get this anniversary collection for Zelda. I mean, think about it. It's really such a Nintendo thing to see something that worked so well in one place and could easily be implemented somewhere else, then to only forget about it and move on. Just because Nintendo does something smart once, doesn't mean they're going to do it again. This is why they're the most unpredictable gaming company you will ever see, because sometimes it just feels like they hate easy money. However, with all that said, I still think a Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD collection is still coming. Not only does it make no sense to not port over the remasters already made and ready to go on Wii U, but industry insiders have also recently come out hinting that it's only a matter of time. Andy Robinson of Video Games Chronicle and Tom Phillips of Eurogamer both teased this. So I think there's a pretty darn good chance this is actually true, with Video Games Chronicle behind the completely true Mario Anniversary rumors last year, and Eurogamer having a pretty good track record themselves, as well as this just making too much sense. So with all this information now, let's start to put things into perspective. Skyward Sword HD is releasing on the Switch this July. Age of Calamity DLC will arrive in June and November, expanding on an already great title we are just off the heels of. There is a very high chance that both Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD will arrive in the second half of this year. And Breath of the Wild 2 will finally be revealed this year, with a potential holiday release or a release pushed into 2022, setting up next year to be one heck of a year. If the last Nintendo Direct left you feeling disappointed, I hope this puts into perspective why I don't think you should be. Remember, this Direct was focused on games coming out in the first half of 2021, excluding Splatoon 3. And looking at the lineup for the first half of the year, it actually looks quite good. Legion's better than last year's. And if there's one more thing I want to leave you with, it's this. Zelda's great. Zelda is an amazing game series that I'm sure most of you watching this video love. I mean, if you're watching this video and you don't like Zelda, who are you? But I think something the backlash to this Direct showed me is a lot of people are sleeping on a lot of great series. Now, I fully understand that everyone has different tastes, and some of you might hate Splatoon, some of you might hate Xenoblade, but if you haven't tried them and they look even remotely interesting to you, I say try it. I might be a huge Zelda fan, but I'm also a huge Splatoon fan, a huge Xenoblade fan, a huge Dragon Quest, Persona, Mario, Donkey Kong, you name it fan. And that's just what I want to leave you guys with. There are so many great games out there that I'm sure there's one for all of you that you'll find and you'll say, wow, this is amazing. I guess what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of really great game experiences out there. And if you're disappointed with this Direct and you don't know anything coming up that you want to play, I say just go looking, because I'm sure you'll find something that you'll love and be excited about. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you stop everything right now and subscribe to the channel. And if you already are subscribed to the channel, you get a pat on the head. And if you just now subscribed, you get 2 pats on the head. We're getting there. We're getting very close to 10K subscribers on the channel, and I have some very cool plans for when we do hit that milestone, so make sure you guys keep subscribing, and we will get there very soon and have a lot of fun. Also, as I mentioned in the recent Return of Nintendo Directs video, I have a big project coming very soon. Thank you for bearing with me as I continue working on this in the background. But yeah, I am excited to share that with you guys when it is done, which will be soon. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Let me know what upcoming Zelda project you are most excited to see. They're probably most of them are going to be Breath of the Wild 2. So let's say beyond Breath of the Wild 2, which one you're most excited to see. And I also want to hear if you guys found any new games to play, like we were talking about earlier. So many great games out there just waiting for you to find them. And I want to hear if you guys have any new ones that you played and want to tell me about. And if you have, like, you're waiting for something to play and you want a suggestion, just like shout at me in the comments. Hey, Xeno, give me a suggestion. I probably will. Again, as always, you guys can find me on Twitter at XenogamerYT. You can join the Discord server to be part of the community, and you can join us every Friday for streams on Twitch. A lot of fun over there, in all those places, actually. And I think that'll about do it for today's video. Keep an eye on the channel. Some very fun stuff coming soon. Big project coming at some point in the next few weeks. And keep it cool, guys. See you later. Bye.